countries from the issues they've had with currencies before, the hyperinflation, the move to the dollar, the reliance on other countries and even international monetary orders, with exploitative loans. There's definitely a movement there, but it hasn't caught on in a way with the general population to mean that right now the general populations in countries like El Salvador and Ecuador and Argentina are at large just getting wiped out. However, I think it is significant that this dream that they have of this alternate to the currency system that they have been living in is now dealt a significant setback.
Our Kate Rooney was just talking about Mayor Suarez's in Miami, his comments, given the meltdown. What are we hearing from business leaders, from government officials that have embraced Bitcoin in Latin America?
Yeah, I think they understand that there's a real challenge here. They understand that they were having some momentum. They were making moves up until this point. And you did end up having populations that, okay, in El Salvador, for instance, they put the QR codes out front of shops, large and small, saying you can pay with Bitcoin here. And there was real hope that this would catch on. Everybody from business leaders to meetup leaders who are enthusiastic about Bitcoin to government leaders who have pushed this to populations understand that it's just going to be a much larger hill to climb, from now on. And, Bitcoin has its cycles. It goes up and down. But there was hope that this was going to be a moment of stability, which would allow this to catch on. But clearly, it's not what we're seeing now. Bitcoin, as you mentioned, down 56%. Ethereum down 70% on the year. Terrible conditions for those who wanted to make this catch on across Latin America.
Alex, this was just so incredibly risky for government leaders to embrace. It seems to me there was no mainstream narrative for crypto that was moderate. It didn't really exist. Like, oh, well, this is going to be stable from here. It could go down, it could go up. It's not going to go to the moon, but here's what it's good for. This was sort of an all-in religious belief where, some mayors and mostly mayors started chasing this as economic development. And now it's really unclear to me what the playbook is. I mean, is there a moderate crypto narrative?
Right, and I think that the extreme narrative that you're referencing is coming from El Salvador, which made Bitcoin not only legal tender, but an important investment strategy for the country, where President Nayib Bukele is putting millions of dollars, or says he's putting millions of dollars into Bitcoin, buying the dip, and then the coin keeps going down. It's not really a great strategy for your country's treasury. But I think it's important to look at the context here. We're going bananas over 8.5% inflation in the U.S. In Argentina this year, inflation is supposed to go 60, maybe 70%. Already at 60% from last year. So, when we see that this as extreme, you have to understand the moderate case right now, to ease into this just does not look appealing to people who are seeing this as a hedge to the issues that are going on out there. So yeah. It's really a very difficult position. And again, it's failed a lot of people's hopes.
And we should point out, the IMF told El Salvador earlier in the year, you can't do this. You can't make it legal tender, which I guess raises the question longer term when there is a sovereign debt crisis of any sort or there's calls for rescue, how much help there is going to be given that the warnings were so stark.
Yeah, I think it's a really spot on point. When countries like El Salvador are saying this is going to be a hedge to the IMF and this is going to be El Salvador's way to tell the IMF, we're not doing business with you anymore. That works as long as your investments in Bitcoin are going up, as long as people are getting rich enough with cryptocurrency to invest in your bonds. When the band stops playing the music, as it is right now, it becomes a lot more difficult to come back with that. And I think that just underscores the tragedy, of this crash in many ways. We hear about, okay, investors are getting wiped out in the U.S., but in places like El Salvador and elsewhere in Latin America, it's a much more serious issue.
Yeah, Alex, well said. Thanks for being with us, for your insights. Alex Kantorowicz, Big Technology.
Thank you.